you play your chip shots like you do on a flat lie, what's going to happen, because we've got the slope basically in our face, it's going to cause the leading edge of this wedge to be much more likely to dig in, which causes this kind of chunky shot where we get them a little bit heavy with digging into the slope. Then you sort of overcompensate and try and help it up and you catch it a little bit too thin, okay? Then your confidence is shot. So you're not only worried about trying to get it close, you're trying to not completely screw up. So then what happens, you start to adjust your setup, which is correct in some ways, but you're matching the slope, okay? And I've talked about this before, where you match the slope, so my hips, my feet balance, so I put my feet together, I step to the side, I fall to the side here, and that's already because my hips, my knees, my shoulders, basically my path is following the slope a little bit more. That's something that's going to help for sure, but I want to take it just a little bit further. If you're standing with your chip shots where your feet are aiming a little bit left, on the flat lie, that's okay. But what happens on an uphill lie, it basically causes us to dip our shoulders back a little bit too much this way, causing us to hit the bottom of our arc, our low point, moving too far forward. So then we try and manipulate. Or if we open up the club face, we can end up sort of digging in the heel of the club that way. So I want to give you just a little tweak to your setup. I want you to picture hitting a draw with your wedges. Might sound a little bit odd, but a draw, rather than trying to hit cut spin, a cut digs into the slope. A draw, an in-to-out path, is going to brush up the slope a little bit more. And that's the sensation that I want you to have, to feel like we are just brushing the grass, following the slope. The more we cut across it, the more we're going to dig in. The more we brush the slope, digging in, out to in, is going to hit the ball this way. But in to out, it's very hard to actually have that leading edge dig into the ground, you see? So we're putting a little draw spin on it, and we're following this slope a little bit more. We're following the slope this way rather than digging into it this way. That's the concept. And when we adjust our setup a tiny bit, and with that feeling in our mind, you're going to be surprised at how good your chip shots are. If you keep watching, I'm going to give you one of my favorite little bonus tips that really does cut so many shots off people's scores, and it's stupidly easy. What I love about this, it works very quickly. I give it to students all the time in playing lessons as well, because people just don't think about it. So instead of your regular setup with your stance being open and tilting your shoulders up this way, we're going to do these couple of things. We're going to stand a little bit closer. We're going to raise that handle up just a little bit. That's going to produce a little less drag, but I'm actually going to pull my right foot back a touch here, okay? And I'm going to feel like my hands are, instead of lifting up outside, they're going to feel like they are much more nearer my thighs this way. So the path is almost a little bit like a in to out putting stroke, but I'm very subtle with an out to in path. There's my target, but my feeling is actually really going out right past the flag. I'm kind of following my feet. I like the ball to be a little bit further back with this, but you can certainly test it out being a little bit further if that gives you a bit more authority to accelerate through and kind of get your chest to the target rather than pushing it this way, because getting it further back sometimes can cause a little bit of this action. So if you find you're feeling a little bit restricted when doing it, try moving the ball further forward. Let's say we just go pretty natural, pretty neutral rather. I've got my trail foot back. I'm matching the slope that we talked about earlier, but I'm hitting this little soft draw. And it's not just my path going back, I'm actually allowing the hands to release, to turn over just a little bit. So I want to release and feel like the club head is actually passing the hands and turning over, creating a little bit of hook spin, just like so. That's your little checkpoint. I don't want to be digging up, I don't want to be lifting up, I don't want the face to be wide open. I'm just adding a little bit of draw. So let's put that into action. I'm trying to picture a draw. I've got my landing spot. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm going to do my little mulligan rehearsal, pulling my right foot back, nice soft arms but firm grip, raising the handle, and I'm just allowing the club to release through, but keeping it close to my body. And what you'll find is the little strikes that you get are very reliable. So I'll show you again. Got my landing spot, got my little draw picture. I'm adjusting to the slope. I've got my trail foot back, takeaway inside and out, just brushing the club, feeling it just release itself. I'm not trying to force it with my hands. I'm very soft in the wrist, but I'm allowing a nice little release. And you get this trustworthy, consistent strike that just brushes the ball towards the hole. And it works out more often than not. As promised, here is my bonus tip for you. Instead of always grabbing your sand wedge around the greens, even off good lies, out of rough, I want you to consider using a 9-iron. Why? Well, it becomes very apparent when we are on an upslope, because if you look at the two clubs, if we're on a slope, if it's a little bit pronounced, this sand iron, if that was sort of a flat lie, I step back, it's suddenly become more like a 60 degree. With the 9-iron, if that was where it would be on a flat lie, but I'm now following the slope, it suddenly becomes much nearer to a sand wedge. So we're getting a similar result to the sand wedge, but what's happening is we don't have to swing as long. But it's not quite a bump and run, it's still the same technique. But on longer chips, it's going to really help you. So if you really want a confidence boost, grab your 9-iron with pretty much every chip shot around the green, but apply the same technique. Foot back, hands in, hitting a little draw shot, okay? Very soft with the arms, nice and smooth, a nice tempo, and we're just brushing the club. And you'll start getting more confidence, and golf is all about confidence. It's not so much about the specificity of the technique. Confidence is king. If you have to use a 9-iron, do it. But promise you, I use a 9-iron so many times around the greens, even from fluffier lies or in the rough. It's much more reliable. So start putting the draw shot into action around the greens, especially off those fiddly little uphill lies. And yes, you can try it out of some rough as well. Not too deep, but I urge you to test it, because again, it's about consistency and a reliable, trustworthy action that you can use today. Now, if you want to see your greens be hit more often, then you want to see this video, because it's really going to help your accuracy and your striking, so perhaps you don't need to chip quite as often.